We're going green this time by. Justin Menard and Max Bergstrom once again will bring the field down. Amy Arsenault joins in at the tail end of the field. Once again, we're back underway as the 4 of Menard jumps out front, sets the pace off of turn number 2. Joey Morissette in the number 77 working the inside of Danny Masser as Danny works that top. Slides up to the number 3 spot. Sets his sights on Bergstrom in the 41. Here comes Perry looking 3 wide through the corner. Morissette all sorts of crossed up. Gathers it in. As they head down into 3 and 4. Massa right behind the number 3. Bergstrom working that bottom lane. Massa's got to be careful because here comes Perry up on the outside as they come off of turn number 2. Perry is on his way up on the outside. Whoa, hang on, Bergstrom. Backhand snaps out briefly. Massa gets underneath. Perry gets on the outside. Morissette trying to fill the hole in down on the inside. 3 wide through the corner as Bergstrom tries to gather it back in. He slides out of the top 5 for the first time. Morissette up to 4th now. Sestodio up inside the top 5. The 82 of Cliff Avila up to 6. They play bumper tag down on the inside. Sestodio takes a look to the inside of the number 77. Morissette caught up top down the backstretch. Sestodio slides on by, and the 77 settles into the 5th spot. Justin Menard leads the charge down into turn number 1, and he has not relinquished any part of that lead to the 41 of Massa. Danny continues to try to close in the gap. This time he gets a good run off of turn number 4, and he's down to a car length between he and the rookie out of Taunton, Mass. Trouble down in 1 and 2. Danny Massa on the outside. As they drag race down into turn number 1, and it is Massa looking for the advantage. Half a car length on the 4 down into turn number 3. Danny Massa becomes the second leader of the event, but look who's following him. Oh, trouble! Perry and Menard get together. Justin trying to hang on, gets stopped off of turn number 2, and that's going to bring out the caution. 16 laps remain. Danny Massa has Scott Sestodio lined up on the outside of the front row. Off of turn number 4 they come. Massa gets a half a car length advantage by the time they hit turn number 1. Sestodio drops back, settles in right on the back bumper as Morissette and Chouinard race side by side for 3rd. Doug Benoit working himself up on the outside, settles up into the 6th position. Settles in right behind Cliff Avila in the 82. Started 5th and dropped back just a little bit as the 31 of Sestodio works hard on the lead, gets loose off the corner as Massa shuts the door. Danny Massa winds it up just a little bit as Sestodio chases him down into 1 and 2. The 77 of Morissette sits 3rd. 4th is a battle of Villa down on the inside. The 6 of Chouinard works up top as they hit turn number 3. 13 down, 12 to go. Bergstrom goes around on the front straightaway, trying to keep that TTM Motorsports machine green, and we do. Up front, bumper tag off of turn number 4. The 31, all over the tail end. 10 laps remaining this time. Can Massa hold off Custodio? The two-time champion, all over the back bumper of the 41. Takes a look down to the inside off of turn number 2. Gets a nose up underneath the inside as Perry does a 360. Keeps it green. Battle for the lead off of 4. And Custodio finds himself at the top of the leaderboard for the second week in a row. Massa battling back on the outside. Behind them, Avila looking for third underneath Morissette. Down off of turn number 4 they come. A dead heat across the stripe that time. Custodio and Massa working side by side. Avila has worked himself up into third. Morissette and Chouinard round out the top 5. Massa settles in behind the 31. Takes a look to the outside. Tries a run. Gets back behind the Ritchie's insulation machine and sets chase down the back straightaway. Field starting to string itself out around the 3rd mile. Battle for 7th down the backstretch. Marissa Morgan trying to find a way by Amy Arsenault. Morgan in the gray and yellow 57 takes a look to the outside of the orange and white number 9. Five more circuits to go, that time across the stripe, and Scott Custodio has opened up some breathing room between he and Danny Massa, trying to go back to back and have an undefeated 2 weeks back in the pure stocks. Cliff Avila still sits third, a good run for him, his best of the season. Joey Morissette 4th. And rounding out the top 5 is Ava Chouinard. 3 to go this time by. Twin sticks up as a field. Your leaders come by it across the start-finish line. Custodio with a 3-car length advantage over the 41 of Danny Massa. After a long layoff, last week was asked to sub. This week he was asked to finish out the season, and what a way to thank his new car owner. By back-to-back victories in the pure stocks as Scott Custodio leads the charge down into 3 and 4. There's a checkered flag. Welcome back for the second week in a row, Scott Custodio. Danny Massa for second, Cliff Avila third, Joey Morissette 4th, and rounding out the top 5 is Ava Chouinard.
Congratulations. I don't plan up until a couple weeks ago, but man, is it working out pretty well.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have this planned. I was just so happy that these guys asked me to drive this thing. This thing's a hot rod. It's awesome to drive. And it was awesome racing with Danny Massa there. That was probably the most fun I've ever had in one of these cars.
Well, and the two of you together had gapped the field a little bit. I mean, take me through that battle. You got under him a couple times. You had to back out of it, and then you get back on a race side by side for 3 or 4 laps and looked like pretty equal cars at that point, but then you were able to gap them there at the end.
Yeah, I had Tim in my ear telling me I know how to do better than that. So when I was in the mini cup groove, I figured I'd get out of it, and pass him the right way. I was debating going to the outside, but probably wouldn't have worked out too well for me.
Well, I know there's some sponsors on this car, and this guy over here giving you the opportunity to drive. I know there's some people you want to be able to thank.
Yeah, I got to thank Lenny and Brad for having me drive this car. I appreciate it. Awesome car. I got to thank Ritchie's Insulation, R&K Home Service,
Apollo Safety,
Seven & Sons, Apollo Safety,
Atlantic Water Management.
Atlantic Water Management. Actually, yeah, Lenny can do it.
They're gonna
Kyle,
yes.
let Scott know after this one, he can't read off the car. He's got to memorize them next time.
All right, you got to memorize it. You want to bring a paper with you next week, written down maybe, laminated?
Yeah, I think I need to.
I'll do it. I'll laminate
I
it.
think I need to. Kevin last week had asked me about racing this car and when the last time I raced was, and I completely spaced out that I raced in 2016 against this car. Finished second in points to this car. So it's pretty cool to now be driving this car.